Oluwatosin here. In this video, we are going to be learning how to create these structured spiral designs with fabric. These designs elevate your dresses from 0 to 100. In case you are new here, you're welcome. My name is Oluwatosin. And to all my returning subscribers, you're also welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by today's video. For this project, I used this size of fishing line. There are different sizes and different kinds of fishing line. You can pick up any one. They all work perfectly for this project. You can also use bony for this, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to be using this size of fishing line. I hope this size is clear. I hope you can see that. Then I used organdy. You can use a fabric of your choice, but I'm just going to be using organdy for this particular project. Now I want mine to be a bit long, so I measured out the length and the breadth that I'm trying to achieve. Please have it at the back of your mind that whatever the width you are trying to achieve, the fabric you are going to cut out has to be ×2 of that width. I mean the wideness. If you want this spiral design to be 60 inches wide at the end of the day, I mean when you are done sewing it, please cut out a fabric that is 120 or 150 inches wide because it's going to shrink when you are done. So after cutting out the fabric, the first thing to do is to fold the two edges. So I proceeded to folding the two edges of mine. After folding, we are going to be doing this in two ways. I'll be showing you the two ways you can use to achieve this. So for this first way, you are going to be needing a zipper foot. So I'll be changing my regular sewing foot to zipper foot, and after changing it to zipper foot, you pick up your fishing line. You'll be sewing the fishing line together with the fabric at the same time. The other method is going to be that you create a channel where the fishing line will enter first before you now start inserting the fishing line inside. I hope that is clear. So I changed my regular foot to my zipper foot, and then I picked up my fabric and I started sewing. So I'm going to just pick up my fishing line and fold. Depending on the size of your fishing line, you're going to fold your fabric to that size. Don't make it too wide or too tight so that your zipper foot doesn't climb on the fishing line, and it should not be too wide at the same time. Just make it exact, just the way I'm folding it, so you will stitch from up to down while your fishing line is inside the fabric. Your fishing line has to be inside the fabric before you can do this, and you have to be as careful as possible, because if you are not, you might end up sewing on the fishing line, which is not supposed to be. So I stitched from up to down. At the same time, my fishing line is inside my fabric. To be honest, this process is hard. Like the sewing tutorials I've seen in time past on this particular design, they don't used to emphasize on how stressful and time taking this thing is. You won't know till you've tried it. So I was done with the first line, but don't be discouraged. It's worth it at the end of the day. So I was done sewing the first line, and then I proceeded to the second line. Remember I said that I'll be doing this, I'll be showing you how to achieve this in two ways, and this is still the first way. Then another thing is you have to be mindful of the spacing in between your lines, between the first one and the second one. If you want it to be even, you have to keep up with that. Like if you are using like half-inch spacing, you have to keep up with the half-inch. If you are using 1 inch spacing, you have to keep up with the 1 inch. So whatever the spacing is, you just have to keep up with it. You have to keep up with whatever space you have chosen. Another way you can do it is the spacing can actually be uneven, like it can be irregular. Whatever it is, just keep up. If you want it to be even, make sure that it's even, and if you want it to be uneven, make sure that it is uneven, so that it can come out neat and okay at the end of the day. So as I was stitching, I was measuring the space in between, so that I'll be sure that I'm on track. The other method is moving to the other method. Now you're going to fold your fabric first, considering the size of your fishing line. Then you fold from up to down. Make sure that it's not too wide, so that the fishing line is not just falling off from it, and it should not be too tight at the same time, so that the fishing line can pass through it perfectly. And as I was stitching, as I was creating each channel, I was still mindful of the spacing in between each. So I kept on measuring till I was done. Like I said, it is a lot of work, especially if you want to make it wide, not just small or slim. I did all of this. And after a long while, this is where I am. So currently, this is what it's looking like. It is folding a bit because the first two lines that I stitched, I proceeded to passing the fishing line inside. I just wanted to see the effect. So the first two lines on both sides, they have fishing line inside of them. That is why my fabric is folding like this. So just keep up with it. Make sure that you are neatly as much as possible and carefully stitching across from one side to the other. So after several hours, I was finally done, and this is the outcome. At this point, I have not inserted the boning. I just inserted 4 lines, like I said, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. That is why it's folding, like it's already coiling like this. So you give this a very good press as much as possible, and then you start inserting your fishing line into each channel that you have created. If you find this method too is actually more time taking, it's more time consuming compared to method 1, but I find it easier. If you find method 1 easier, you can stick to method 1, and if you find method 2 easier, just like me, you can stick to method 2. So I proceeded to inserting my boning into each of the channel that I have created, and to secure the edges you can use like a lighter to burn across the edges just to secure it. You can as well pick up a matching fabric and stitch across the edge just to secure it. In my case, I used a matching fabric, but you can just use lighter to burn the edges so that it doesn't start fraying. So after all being said and done, after several hours, this is the outcome of my spiral design. You can now proceed to attaching this to whatever part of your dress that you want to. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and interesting. Don't forget to subscribe if you've not. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.